Hi, it's Rosemary Sneeringer at thebooknurture.com, helping you create the most amazing, professional, and beautiful book cover for your fantastic book.
We're going to start off looking at our first cover with Molly McCord. Hi, Molly.
Hi, Rosemary. Thank you for having me. Well, I'm excited to talk with you about this because, as you know, the visual is so important when you are sharing or selling anything. And I want to make sure that people know that they have support and they have a lot of good information that will help them create a really solid, inspiring book cover.
I just want to give a little bit of background on you, Molly. She's a best-selling author. Her debut memoir, The Art of Trapeze, hit #1 in 2 Amazon categories within 3 days. So The Art of Trapeze is Molly's first book in the Awakening Consciousness series, and that's followed by the second book, and we'll also look at that cover, The Modern Heroine's Journey to Consciousness. Molly released 5 books in 2013, which is amazing. Molly has a BA in Political Science and Women's Studies and a master's degree in International Relations and Diplomacy. And that's a really good place to start because that's what brought you to Paris, and that's what a lot of your memoir is focused on. And so I really want to get into how your cover connects with what you were doing over there in Paris. She went there to get her master's degree, and a few months ago I was reading Molly's blog, and she said that she was leaving a 6-figure part-time job because it just wasn't doing it for her anymore, and she felt that the prosperity was within her, not in the job. So she is such a go-getter, and you will see that when you read her book. She had 22,144 downloads of her book in the last week of March 2014.
Oh, thank you, Rosemary. It's always crazy to hear your own bio. You think, did I do that? Oh, right, I did. The intention behind writing my story or sharing this part of my life was to inspire people to know that you have dreams bigger than yourself. You have something out there that you can go for and create and experience. And I think hearing the first-person story through memoir is very powerful, especially when it's honest. And as you know, Rosemary, reading my book, I laid it all on the table. I mean, I put a lot of stuff out there that made me vulnerable or was a little scary, but you get stronger in yourself when you share your authenticity and you share your truth. And I believe that people who are listening to this very call right now, this very webinar, are ready to stretch themselves to go a little further in their authenticity, in their message, and to connect with readers from that space. So your book cover can absolutely do that. And on my book cover, you'll see, obviously, there's the Eiffel Tower because instantly that is a strong, unspoken message. People get it right away. It's that instant connection. So it was important to me to have a single, strong image that conveyed where the story took place, some of the energy and messages that would be included. So that's why the Eiffel Tower is included. I know that it can be a little cliche, but we used a lot of movement on the cover as well. You can see that there's the swirls and the action, and that was to make it a little bit more dynamic. Some feedback I received was that it had gravitas, it had something special, and that was great because I am not the book designer. I just was wowed by it. And I think it's important that you as an author, you feel a connection to the book cover yourself. Instantly check in with how you feel when you see it for the first time, because that is how your readers are going to see it and feel. So know that you need to trust yourself when you're looking at your own cover, and you want to make sure it captures not only the energy of your messages, but an energy that speaks to you. And the visual is so, so, so important. It will always be important, and it's becoming even more important right now, I think, as we start to use more social media channels that focus on the visual, such as Instagram, Pinterest, even Twitter. The visual matters more than ever. And so I believe that it's really important to make sure that your cover speaks to you and it captures something special for you in your story.
Oh, that's a great point. I love what you said about the instant impression you get. And for me, when I was reading the book, you go to Paris and you find out, oh, people get there 6 months before. You better hurry up and find yourself an apartment. And so you go out looking for an apartment, and there was one point where, you know, you're really rushed. You have about 3 days left, and something just doesn't feel right, and you honor that, and you say, no, I'm going to say goodbye to this one, and I know something better will come in, which at that point was pretty brave. And then when you finally found the place, you leave, and you're walking toward the metro, and you turn around, and there's the Eiffel Tower. So putting on the cover has a lot of meaning. There's layers of meaning there.
And in fact, before I even moved to Paris, I would joke with my friends that my address is going to be 111 Eiffel Tower Drive. It's like I was already just saying, no, I'm going to have this. and it's cool how you can use your book cover to really communicate a strong message that brings people in, but also reinforces your own driving intentions with the book, and looking at, why did I write this book? Why am I sharing this book? I think that the cover is one of the tools that helps you communicate that message.
Well, I love it because I love the swirls, fleurons. I love the color. I love red. Even the font is beautiful. It's every element someone really thought about. And even the little band with your name across the bottom, that looks great too.
We did that intentionally, Rosemary, because it needed grounding. So you'll see that the band with my name just grounds the image, but it doesn't connect to the very bottom of the cover, right, to also give it some, so it's not too weighted down. But then it also balances the band at the top, which describes the series. So using those bands can be a great way to center an image and ground it.
That's a great point. And I just want to say something about your book. You are really honest in this book, and there's a couple of times where things are going pretty well, and you're always challenging yourself. I mean, just getting set up in Paris and then having some amazing opportunities, being able to work for a diplomat at the embassy, just unbelievable. And then things start falling apart. And so I thought that was such a gift to people, because that happens in our lives sometimes. Everything's going great, you're in the flow, and then nothing seems to work. And you're a go-getter, but you can't fix it. You can't do your way out of it, right?
I do want people to know that everything is unfolding for your highest and best good, but we're human, and we question that, and we wonder what the heck's going on. And so that was one of my main messages with the book, is that higher perspective and showing that there are so many gifts, even if you can't see them right in the moment.
So the next book, The Modern Heroine's Journey to Consciousness, you kept that same beautiful flow. Tell us how this cover came about, Molly.
Well, again, I wanted there to be a central image, just a very clear main focus point for the eye. And the suitcases were exciting for me, especially a stack of them, because it signifies you've been on a journey. It signifies movement. There's been travel. There's been, things have been unfolding. And this book is about spiritual growth and the journey that we are on as souls, as beings in human form. And this book, this cover, is part of the series, and so it needed to maintain some of the same elements as The Art of Trapeze. So you'll see it has that same band around my name, it has that same band at the top. The layout is the same, and that was highly intentional, but the color scheme's a little different. The main image is obviously different, but there's a cohesion there. So if you have a series or you have books that are all related, you're going to want to intentionally choose what elements need to carry forth with each cover. This is also a very important part of branding, because someone is going to, without even thinking of it, they're going to look at an image and then think, I know this author, or I think I know what this is about. The eye is such a quick communicator. So keep that in mind. With a series, you want to have common elements that are complementary and together they look cohesive.
Your book made it in 3 different categories. Can you just tell us a little bit about the categories?
Amazon has their own way of ranking sales. It's very different than, say, New York Times bestseller list or USA Today. Amazon has multiple subcategories, and when you first upload your book, you will need to select which categories you want your book to be ranked in. You can select 2 for each version of your book. So for your ebook, you have 2 categories. For your paperback, you have 2 categories. The Art of Trapeze is in biographies and memoirs, and it's also in spiritual self-help. Those are my 2 categories. And within the first 3 days, it hit number 1 in both of those subcategories. And then from the subcategories, a book rises up from there. So, for example, the next way it rose in bestseller status was a hit number 2 alongside 12 Years a Slave, which is in a bigger category, which is the biographies and memoirs category. And then when I had over 20,000 downloads in 2 days, it was number 6 on all of Kindle. So your book will have different categories where it will have different sales rankings, and a lot of authors use those different sales rankings to communicate that their book is a bestseller.
I really want to help authors make the right choices about their book covers, and there don't seem to be many resources out there for them. That's why I've created a book cover kit that can take you step by step through all the components you need to create great copy and a beautiful cover that will attract readers to your amazing book. Check out my site at thebooknurture.com. Thanks so much.